Welcome to Probability and Statistics. In this lecture video, we're going to talk about section 3.1, Measure of Center. Sorry about this title right here. This is the title from the previous session. I copied it. All right. So our objective here is talking about the measure of center. The word mean, median, and mode. Now, the word mean is what we normally refer as average. Okay. However, though, in statistic, the word average actually means mean, median, or the mode. It means one of the three things. Okay. In statistic, that's the reason why in statistic class we actually don't use the word average. We're actually saying the word either mean, median, or mode. All right. So I got formula here. I'm going to show you, and please do not get overwhelmed by the formula. What I really want to show y'all here is the notations. We learned that lowercase n stand for the sample size. Oh, let me type it out right here real quick. The lowercase n stand for the sample size. All right. The capital letter N, as you can recall, represent the population size. All right. So now I'm adding more notation to this class. What is so-called a simple mean is using X bar. X bar is called simple mean. So to find simple mean, or to find the word average that we're normally referring to, is add up all the numbers we have and then divided by so many number I added. So my notation, this notation, okay, epsilon in Greek letter, this is your summation sign. Okay, that means summation. This is the sum, okay, of your xi. That means all your x entries divided by so many. To find the population mean, it's the same idea. Add up all the numbers you have divided by the total number you added. But for population mean, we use the letter called mu. M-U. This is called mu. Mu is population mean. X bar is the simple mean. But how we find it is still the same way. Alright. Another type of mean is called the weighted mean. Alright. Weighted mean is referring to if you have repetitive numbers. So for example, if I have a number 4 on the X column, and then the frequency, okay, in the Y column, let's say that is like a 10. So that means I actually have 10 fours. Okay, so that's called the weighted mean. And we have other examples, such as the dot plot that we saw from the previous lecture video, where one numerical value has a lot of dots. Okay, so when we're dealing with those type of data, we can use something called the weighted mean. Now, most of the time, I like students to use their graphing calculator to figure out mean and such. Okay, so we will do that just in a minute. Alright, let me go ahead and just refresh your memory on this. Something called the median. Median is the value that lies in the middle of the data set when your data is arranged in the ascending order from small to large. Mode is referring to the numerical value in your data that occurs the most. Okay, number that occurs the most. Alright, so let's find some mean, median, and mode. The length of the longest 3-point kick, okay, for football. All right, so here is my raw data. We actually have the numerical data. So to find mean from the raw data, we will follow this instruction. Okay, so I'm gonna typing my numbers here just in a minute. I'm gonna just have this number right here. So the first place we go is press Stat, choose Edit, number 1, and I'm going to enter my raw data under L1. So I had something from last video stuff in L2, so I'm going to highlight the word L2, press clear, enter. Go to L1, highlight the word L1, press clear and enter. Now I'm going to type in these numbers, okay, my raw data. So just be careful, don't type in a number wrong. So this is not a group data because I'm not group them into class. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 5 is 20. So the last one here says 21 because there's an empty, that's an empty space. So this one, last number was number 20. So once I type in my raw data, press the word stat again. This time I'm going to highlight the word calc. Go to the right, choose number 1, called one variable statistics. Okay, now if you do not see the same screen as I do here, it's because your calculator is more updated version. So maybe your calculator might say X list, and then right below it says frequency. Okay, so our X list was under L1. Our frequency, there was nothing under L2. There was no number under L2, so you can just say frequency is 1 at a time. Every number, it was 1 at a time when I entered it. And then you probably see a word, something like a calculate or something like that. Alright, highlight it and press enter. For my calculator, I will actually type in second L1, comma, and that's it. I got nothing behind it. So I'm going to do L1, press enter. And my X bar, which is my mean, 45.3. Okay. Alright, let's find median. Alright, X bar means simple mean. I think this is a simple data, so this X bar represents simple mean. Now if the problem says something like find the population mean, then your X bar here in your calculator represent population mean. Okay, they don't have the letter mu in the graphing calculator. Now to find the median, all I need you to do from this screen, just scroll down, find something called MED. That's your median, which is 45.5. Now the calculator does not do mode, so here we're just gonna take a look at the number that occurs the most. I got the number, let's see, let's look around. I got 40 occurred twice. I got 41 occurred twice. Let's see, 52 occurred twice. And let's see, 59 occurred twice. So I got these numbers all occur twice. So all of them is going to be my mode because they all occur twice. So my mode will be 40, 41, 52, and 59. Now if every number only occur one time, then we have no mode. Alright, so median, what lies in the middle, right? Mode, number occurs the most. Okay, so mode affects your how your graph is being it affects how your distribution is laid out. Maybe it's going to be skewed to the right, skewed left, or it's going to be right in the middle. Okay, the bell curve shape that we talked about. Alright, the next example is a little bit strange. It says find 10% trimmed mean of the following data. And if you look at this number, okay, the fatal alcohol impaired car crashes per 100 million vehicle mile travel. If you look at this set of data, they already put them in order for me. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times 2 is 20. So there are 20 datas here. I need to trim off 10% of it. So I will times 0.1. So that means there are 2 numbers here we don't want to use. Alright, so when we trim them off, okay, we tend to trim off the smallest one and the biggest one. Okay, that's what that means, trim off the 10%. Alright, so if we trim off the edges, okay, so that will actually, naturally that will actually force my mean more towards the center. Alright, so let's put this raw data in a calculator. Stat, number 1 edit. I'm going to clear out my L1. I'm going to just type it in. And if I type in something wrong, I will catch it once I figure out my mean. Alright, once I've typed in all my numbers, press mode, stat, highlight the word calc, choose number 1. Alright, so my frequency is still 1 at a time. My X list was under L1, so I'm just typing L1 and press enter. So my numbers are slightly off than what I wanted. So let me double check. Make sure my numbers are correct. Maybe typing something wrong. You never know. So I didn't type in anything wrong. So what I'm going to do here is bring back the 0.76 and I'm going to trim off the first 2. I'll take off that 0.32. I don't think. So that will actually make it bigger. Okay. So there are different rules, okay, when they talk about the 10% trim. So as far as I remembered, it's supposed to take off the biggest one. I'm going to insert my 0.31 back and see if my insert will match up the way I want. I'm going to take off the last 2 instead in this case, because sometimes the insert I have can be wrong in my notes. So I'm just going to double check it. Just bear with me for a minute. Yeah, I think my insert is wrong in my notes. So that very first number I came out with was correct. Okay, we trim off the smallest one and we trim off the biggest one. Alright, so my mean, 0.531. Okay, now when they talk about this, calculating the using the rounding rule, the rounding rule goes like this. Okay, when they say use a rounding rule, that means If the data has 2 decimal places, you automatically round to the 3rd decimal place on your answer. So my answer is about 0.531. Alright, it's 10% trimming. The whole idea for the trimming is just taking your your biggest number and your smallest number away from. Alright, let's go back to the previous page and let's take a look at grouped data. So again, when we're entering group data, what's under L1 is my midpoints. Okay, so for this example, we need to type in our midpoints. So as you can recall, the midpoints are what lies in the middle between the 2 classes. Okay, so we add up, take my 5.5 plus my 6.49. Add them up first, divided by 2. Oops, sorry. Too many plus signs. Add them up first, divided by 2. Okay, 5.995. Alright, to find the midpoint of the next class, I can figure out my width, which is subtract 2 consecutive lower class limits over subtracting 2 consecutive upper class limits. If I subtract them, my width is 1. So the next one will be 6.955. Okay. 7.955 and so on. Alright, so if I know that, I can go ahead and just go to my edit. Clear out my L1. 5.955. No, 995. 6.995. 7.995. 8.995. And 10.995. Alright. Go to my L2. Frequency 29, 45, 52, 34, and the 16. Okay. So make sure the last entry parallel to each other. Okay. 5.995. Alright, so I was doing it right. Stat calc number 1 variable statistics. So now, alright, now your X list, okay, is your midpoint under L1. Alright, now your frequencies was under L2. So the frequency, you gotta type in L2 and then calculate. So for me, look this way, I will say second L1, comma, second L2. If I do not type in L2 for my frequency, it will only calculate the mean for my L1 only. By typing in L1, comma, L2, it will actually calculate both column of mean. It will actually do the weighted mean for you, okay, in a calculator. Alright. So, alright, so my mean run to the answer near 100th. So nearest hundredths, my answer will be 7.88. 7.88. So there you go. That's how you do it. Now, a lot of time, I might type in the number wrong and things like that. Okay, and you probably will notice it from time to time. Okay. Alrighty. Let's do the same type of problem. Just look slightly different, okay? Earlier I was grouping my data into classes. Right now, this problem look like this, where my weights are under L1, the X column, data value under L2. This is still a group data, it is not grouped by classes, okay? So this is a classic example of a weighted mean type of problem. Alright, so we're still going to treat this like a group data. Okay, got my L1 and L2. So I'm going to go back. Okay. I'm just gonna type over these numbers this time because I know I got more than what I typed in earlier. That 1.5. Oops, typing a number wrong. Alright, 8 numbers. Go back up under L2. 8, 2, 7, 7, 8, 5, 4, 8. Alright, everything parallel. So, stat. Highlight the word count. Choose number 1. Okay. X list L1, comma. Frequency is under L2. So it'll be 2.739. 2.739. That will be my mean. To 3 decimal places. Alright, now let's take a look at your GPA problem. GPA is considered as a weighted mean type of problem. I know, I know this is a lot of different hours right here. So let's pretend we already, took a lot of classes already. Okay, maybe this is not the first semester of data. So basically the way how it goes is following grades. So I have 18 hours where I earn a B. 22 hours. Okay. I got D in it. C has 15 credit hours. Okay. B, D, and C. Alright, so that's all I make. And the equivalencies are the following. Okay, so B is a 3.0, D is 1, C is a 2.0. So this is basically a group data. Alright. So what I can do is go back to stat, edit. Okay, I can have the calculator calculate this for me. Alright, so 18. The credit hour is 18. Oh, excuse me. Let's reverse it. I think we need to reverse it because here's the reason why. 18 hours. Okay, you made B in it, so that means 18 hours of B. So that means B is a 3.0, and we got 18 of those 3.0. So that will be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus itself 18 times. And that will be equivalent of telling yourself that will be 3 times 18. Okay. That's what that means. So my hour, my frequencies, okay, need to be on the L2. And my credit hour is my frequency. How many times I made that 3.0. Alright. That would be the correct way of looking at this. Alright, B is 3. Oh, sorry. 3. Oops. Let me try it again. Alright, 3, 1, 2. Frequency is 18 hours, 22 hours, and 15 hours. Alright. I know mathematically, if we do it by hand, it doesn't really make a difference, but in the calculator, it actually does. Otherwise, it throws you off slightly. Who is L1, L2? So second L1, comma, second L2. Alright, so my GPA is only 1.93. Okay, round to the nearest. 100th. Alright, so if I do this by hand, the 3.0 occur 18 times. So naturally you would say that will be 3 times 18. And 3 times 18 give me 54 points. D, which is 1.0, occurred 22 times, so that will give me 22 points for all those credit hours together. C is 2.0, so I got 15 of those 2.0. 15 hours means I earned 15 of those 2.0. So that's 2 times 15, which is 30. So now, to find the mean, we're supposed to add them all up and divide it by so many we added it. And how many did we? And when we add up the B's, we end up with 54. When we add up the D's, we get 22. When we add up the C's, we get 30. So now we got to add them again. So that will be 54 plus 22 plus 30. So that means I earned 106 points. So your GPA is actually equal to the points that you earn. If I do this by hand, points earned, alright, divided by total credit hour. If I divide by total credit hours, that means this 106 will divide it by the total credit hours, which is 18 hours plus the 22 hours plus the 15 hours. And that will give me my same GPA. Okay, that's how we compute GPA by hand. Alright, and in the next lecture video, we're going to talk about something called the standard deviation and variance. So in this video, I just want to show you how you can use your graphing calculator to find mean and median, okay, by simply typing on the L1, L2 and using this one variable statistic to find it.